long time no see. I'm sorry I haven't been posting as much lately. I kind of had to take a mini hiatus this month because my birthday was on the 11th, and then I've been working a lot more lately at work. So I just didn't have enough time to put up videos, and then by the time I did have time, I got sick, and I didn't want to be all sneezy and gross on camera, so I had to wait until I felt a little better. So I bought a lot of books this month. I didn't buy all of them, but I did get quite a few as gifts for my birthday. The vast majority of books I did buy. But yeah. One of the first books I got this month is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This is a book that starts off in Nigeria with two lovers. One of them moves to America and another moves to somewhere else. And this takes place over years and years, and hopefully there's a reunion near the end. I actually haven't read this yet, but I'm very excited to read it. It's been on my radar for a while. Several of the books that I got this month weren't necessarily just birthday gifts. They were books that I'd had my eye on for the past month because they were going to be April releases. And so I did buy those because I have no self-control. One of the first ones was Dark Eden by Chris Beckett. This is a story that takes place in a different world called Eden. The backstory of this book is that there was astronauts that got trapped there, and they were able to survive. Apparently it has oxygen and all the stuff we need to live. And so they stayed and repopulated the world, and there's no real natural light. The light comes from the trees, and so this is a world that's completely dark. The civilization that grows from these two people actually builds a sort of religion around the astronauts and the spaceships and stuff, and Earth itself. Basically, their entire hope for their lives is that they will go back to Earth someday, because the people that populated the world were left behind by three other astronauts that were trying to go back to Earth and hopefully get people back out here to rescue them. The other April release I got is The Goblet Emperor by Catherine Addison. This is a really good book. I've actually read a lot of the books that I bought this month already. It's about the half-goblin, half-elf son of the emperor. He is the fourth son, therefore not really important. He was kind of banished off into the countryside because the emperor didn't really like looking at him. He was kind of a reminder of this forced marriage he was supposed to go into. So the emperor and his other three sons die in an airship crash, and so the uneducated half-goblin son is now emperor. And this is basically his coming-of-age tale about how he has to grow and stop being and learn how to trust himself and to not really trust anybody else because everybody's out for his throne. I really like this book. The next book I got is The Word Exchange by Alina Graydon. This is an adult dystopian novel about books, actually. The printed word is actually gone extinct. Instead, now they have things called memes, which are they're electronic devices, kind of like cell phones, but they are also intelligent, or have like some sort of AI that like calls a cab for you when you're about to go home, or like orders food for you when you're hungry, stuff like that. And it's basically about how words are slowly dying out, and about how society functions without the physical written word, which is horrifying to me because as much as I enjoy reading books on my, e-reader, I don't like it as much as I like reading physical books. So that's one of the reasons I got this book, was because the premise of it was just really fascinating to me. Next book I got is Space Chronicles by Neil deGrasse Tyson. I have been watching the new Cosmos series, and funny story, I got the DVD box set of the original Cosmos for my fiance for my birthday, so I figured I was going to read some of Neil deGrasse Tyson's books because, yeah, science, space. This is interviews and public speeches and stuff he's written compiled into a book, so I'm very excited to read it. Next book I got is Dorothy Mustache, which is another April release. I really, really like The Wizard of Oz, and Wicked is one of my favorite books, like, ever. So much so that I want to name my future child Elphaba. Like, it's bad. This book I did read, and I did actually end up liking, so I might buy the next book when she releases one. But it's a really good book. It's basically a retelling of The Wizard of Oz if Dorothy went back and became a wicked witch. There's this girl who has pink hair from Kansas with a pet rat, and she goes to she goes to Oz and tries to figure out what the heck is going on, survive, and hopefully kill her. The next book I got is The Martian by Andy Weir. This is a really good book. I've also read this one. It's about a guy who gets trapped on Mars during a dust storm. An antenna pierced his spacesuit, and they thought he was dead, so they left him there. And he's a botanist, so he learns how to mix the dirt from Mars and some soil from Earth to grow potatoes so he can survive until the next mission to Mars. And it's a really fascinating story. There's a lot of science in it. I was just sitting there like, I know all this stuff. This is so cool. I really, really enjoyed it. And the next book I got is The Throne of the Crescent Moon by Saladin Ahmed. This is a book about a ghoul hunter named Adula and how and his assistant's apprentice guy, and they're running around having adventures with a girl who can turn into a lion, and it's got really interesting magic and a really interesting culture, and I really enjoy it. So far I'm like halfway through, so it's really, really good. I like it a lot, and the author is actually really prevalent on Twitter and on Tumblr, both. That's how I found him, and I really wanted to pick it up, so I did, and I'm really glad I did. The next book I got is Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch. It is the second book in the Gentleman Bastard sequence. I'm really excited about this book because I just finished The Lives of Locke No More like 2 days ago. So after that high of just reading an excellent book, you just want to dive into the next one, and thankfully there's 3 books in this series out so far, and this one is about what happens after The Lives of Locke No More. I can't really go into it as much because then that would just spoil The Lives of Locke No More for you, and you should just go read it yourself. The next book I got is Perdido Street Station by China Mieville. This is a book about a dude who is a scientist, and it's kind of steampunky, and like a half bird, half human, goes to him and asks him a request, and just, that's what I can gather from the synopsis. I actually haven't read this yet, but the synopsis was really cool, and this is also on my read list because it's on the NPR Top 100 list, so I am very interested in reading this soon. The book I got is Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. It is the first book in the Wheel of Time series, which means that I'm going to start reading it soon. All of my friends on Tumblr will be very pleased. But yes, I've heard really, really, really good things about this series, and the things I've heard and how attractive everyone seems to be in this series made me want to pick it up. So yeah, I don't really actually know what it's about. I just know that it's like an epic fantasy series that everyone tells me that if you're a fantasy fan, you need to read, so I'm going to read it. The next book I got is Tigana by Guy Gavriel Kay. I have heard really good things about this book. It's about a city who has been under the rule of this one guy, so much so that it's lost its name, and basically there's a crusade to try and get the name back. That's really all I know about this book, but it's really highly rated in the fantasy scene, which is really only our fantasy and the fantasy tag on Tumblr. I'm kind of lame that way. But I really want to read it. It's nice and thick, so I will probably make an afternoon of it sometime. The next book I got is Who Fears Death by Nnedi Okorafor. I have quite a few of her books, so I decided to pick this one up because I really like her writing style. This is about a woman who is the product of rape, and because of that she's named Oyesonwu. And basically the rough translation of that is Who Fears Death. So this, and it's about her struggles and how she survives. I'm really excited to read it because I really, really like this author. She's a great sci-fi fantasy author. The next book I got is Out of the Silent Planet by C.S. Lewis. This was a present from my fiance because I'd been bugging him to get me books. And so this is actually the first in his space trilogy. I honestly have no idea what this is about. I've heard really, really good things about it, and it's really highly lauded, and I love the Chronicles of Narnia, so I figured I'd give this a chance. It's also super tiny, so shouldn't take me too long to finish. Next book I got is Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. This is a book I picked up because of my friend Maki on Tumblr. She told me that it was really good, and I really enjoyed the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, so I figured I'd pick this up. It is good so far. I'm about 100 pages in, and I'm really enjoying it. In this book, ships are made out of certain wood that becomes alive after the owners of the ship, 3 generations of them, die on the ship. And so this ship is about to quicken and become alive because one of the main characters, her father, is going to die soon. And it's also the second main character. There are 2 other main characters. One's a pirate and one is a priest. And it's just a really, really interesting story. And I just want to read the rest of it. The next book I got is Glamour and Glass by Mary Robinette Kowal. It's the second book in the Glamour series. This is a direct sequel to Shades of Milk and Honey. I can't really go into it aside from saying it's like Jane Austen meets magic without really spoiling the stories of. The next book I got is Zoro by Isabel Allende. I got this because it looked really interesting and I found it for $1 at the half price book outlet. This is basically a retelling of the old Zoro story, where Zoro, which is Diego de la Vega, he's basically the Mexican Robin Hood in this book, and it's really, really interesting. The next book I got is Robot Uprisings, which is edited by Daniel H. Wilson, who wrote Robopocalypse, and also edited by John Joseph Adams. He's a really popular short story collection editor. This is a really good book so far. I really like robot stories. I, Robot is one of my favorite books. I really like pretty much any of the robot stories that Isaac Asimov has written. Robopocalypse is a really good book. This is really, really excellent. Like, the stories in here are great. And I'm very excited to finish it. I read a few of them. I tend to space out the short stories that I read in anthologies, just because once it's over, it's over. The next book I got will surprise some of you. I got another copy of Sabriel. I got it to replace my old copy because the old copy I had didn't match my other 2, and I know that you guys are all about matching covers, and so am I, and so I just got this one to replace the old copy. And the next 4 books I got are volumes 14 through 17 of the Karakano manga series by Masami Tsuda. I really, really liked this series growing up, and I wanted to own it, so I'm slowly but surely collecting them. I've been picking them up at secondhand shops, pretty much wherever I can find them. Some of them are out of order, so I was really excited to find 14, 15, 16, and 17, because I have like 1 through 5, then I have 10, and then I think 20 when I can get them, because this is an older manga series, and buying them on Amazon is really, really expensive. The book I got is 3 Messages and a Warning. It's a Mexican sci-fi fantasy story collection edited by Eduardo Jimenez Mayo and Chris N. Brown. I've read some of the books in here, and they're both creepy and awesome and fantastical. Actually, one of the issues that I've had with a lot of Mexican authors is that there's not very many sci-fi fantasy, and so finding this was like finding a treasure. I was very excited when I found this, and I pretty much was like, this is the book, one of the books you're buying me for my birthday, to my fiancé, so he did. The last book I got is Alif the Unseen by G. Willow Wellston. This is a book about a hacker named Alif, which is actually a letter of the Arabic alphabet, I believe. And in this book, he believes himself in love with someone. She actually is promised to someone else, and they have to break up. Their relationship is doomed. By gift, his girlfriend gives him a book that leads to magic, and it's and it seems really, really interesting. I was going to buy the paperback, but then I found this at our local one of our local used bookstores, and I fell in love with the cover. I was going to buy the paperback, but the paperback was $15, and this one was about $8.50. So I went with this one. Alright, so those are the books I got in April. I kind of went a little nuts. Most of the books I ended up buying, I bought because I was like, oh, it's my birth month, I can. And I ended up getting way too many. So I don't know if I'm going to buy as many in May. I know there are a few that I'm eyeing, but other than that, I'm gonna try and read the ones that I do have. I'm noticing something that I'm doing a lot lately is buying books and not necessarily reading them. So I'm going to try and actually buy books and read them, and even if I don't like them. Sorry, I haven't been posting as many videos. I hope to rectify that soon. I've got a few tags that I got actually tagged in, which I'm really excited about. So thank you for subscribing. I have over 100 subscribers now. Oh my god, thank you guys. And I will see you soon. Goodbye.